Hey travelers, Mag, I, Inextricable Fate, the boss man, and his skipper on day 241 of our trip around the United States. We made it to Las Vegas last night, and we are ready for 2 days of rest and relaxation before we get back on the road to the next part of our adventure around the country, finishing off all of the counties in the lower contiguous 48 United States. We talked to the skipper and he said he was good to go. Boss man approved the orders, and we are going to set out on a trail for our adventure for the day. We are currently right on the edge of Black Mountain Regional Park. From here, we're going to be taking the Roadrunner Tail Trail straight up the mountains in front of us for about a mile or so, and then hiking our way back down. All along the trail, there are lots of fun geocaches to find, and I have a sneaking suspicion that once we get to the top of the trail, the view is going to be even better from there than it is from here. This is one of the trails in the city I've never been able to sit out on before, so we are all going to get to discover a new place. Let's go out there and see what it is together. Come on, let's go.
Before we begin though, Bossman made it clear the buggy not gonna happen.
That is getting you geared up. Yeah, we thought you were gonna do the buggy, but you want to do the hiking backpack. Yeah? Well, we're almost there. He's just about cinched up. Ready for adventure, boss man? Yeah, huh? We're gonna do this thing.
Yep, the boss man seems much happier about this change.
That is a kid who is excited for adventure.
The cities of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson have worked together to build an extensive network of urban trails in the Vegas Valley. The current regional trail network features about 50 miles of multi-use trail and 8 miles of equestrian trails. This is just one of many trails to be able to enjoy in the area.
Faster, faster, yeah, Skipper, yeah! I always remember that you were one of my smart friends. When I was having trouble with some kind of assignment or something, and I didn't know what else to do with it, I could always go, hey Skipper, what are you doing this problem, this equation? You're like, oh, it's easy. You just carry the 1, multiply it by 2, and bring it to the square root of 3.
What's funny is I could always figure it out for everybody else, but I hated doing it for myself.
It's all that pressure.
See, B's and C's is what I was aiming for.
Boss man is your first boss man, am I right?
Correct.
How is it in life now with boss man leading the show instead of you and Mrs. Skipper?
Dude, it's exhausting.
Especially with him back there whipping you, right?
Yeah, you go to like, go to bed, he gets to sleep, and then you like hunker down, start getting to sleep, and as soon as your eyes close, none of that. Hey, wake up, it's my turn.
But he is calm, quiet, and very happy hiking along on the trail.
Oh yeah.
As soon as we cleared the paved portion of the trail, Bossman asked if he could have a new driver.
And what do you think about being out on the trail, boss man? Are you having a good time? Boss man talks up a storm. I can't be sure if he's whipping out orders or just expressing his contentment with what we're doing. But his dad understands and does not tell him.
The portion of the trail we chose to set out on today stretches from McCall Hills into Paradise Hills for about 2 miles over the mountains. There are additional opportunities to branch off to other trails here as well, but we chose to keep the day's adventure contained to the Roadrunner Tail Trail. We knew it would be an uphill battle the entire way out to our ending point, but we also knew that once we turned around and made the hike back, it would be all downhill from there.
As we are out here walking on the Roadrunner Tail Trail, there's one thought that just keeps playing through my mind. What was our high school mascot?
Roadrunner.
The Roadrunner. Meep meep.
It did not take us too long at all to realize that Bossman's order to stow the buggy and bring out the hiking backpack were for everybody's best interest. While his buggy would have made short work of the paved portion of the trail, it would not have been able to negotiate the rocky, uneven terrain as we continued to climb higher up. We continued to trudge, putting one foot in front of the other and making our way as far as we could toward the end before we even found our first geocaches. The pace that we set, uninhibited from distractions without stopping for any geocaches, got us up to the top of the trail in practically no time at all.
Today is our last full day adventuring with Inextricable Fate. Tomorrow we will be dropping him off at the airport and he'll be heading back to Florida. We have spent the last week together exploring California. What would you say was one of your favorite parts of that trip?
Driving through the mountains, down to Death Valley.
Ooh, that was
Just the change in elevation, landscape, different scenery.
Especially since we were so low and you could see the mountains towering thousands of feet above you.
From 7,000 feet to minus 300.
Has it been a good trip overall?
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's been great to have you along on the adventure. Almost as much fun as the Bossman.
As soon as we had cleared the trailhead, we never saw another person again, so we immediately let Ai-chan off leash and set her own pace to keep up with the group. While she did lag behind on occasion to check out a particularly interesting smell, for the most part she was helping to set the pace for the rest of us. Although we did have to help her up in a few difficult spots, for the most part she was able to take the conditions on her own four paws at all times. I can hardly believe that this dog is approaching 16 years old in just a couple of months' time. You certainly would not know it from her ability to take on the miles and continue hiking down the trail. At this point, it's seeming less and less likely that there will be any need to put her in her hiking backpack again. But we still keep it on hand just in case we encounter some conditions that may be a little too far or a little too rough for this well-seasoned geocaching dog.
After all that hiking, it's time for a lunch break. Bossman has told us this is the spot where we are going to enjoy some chow. And what Bossman says, Bossman gets.
Our geocaching only began once we'd reached the top, turned around, and began the climb back down. We mostly decided to do it this way because of Ai-chan. I am well aware from our experiences on the road that as soon as we find our first geocache on this trail, she is immediately going to turn around and begin hiking her way back to the car. By waiting until we reached the end of the trail to make our first find, we ensured that she would not turn around until we were all ready to do so. And what's this? Our first geocache find, perhaps? There are still many more to come as we continue to work our way back down toward where the car is parked. It seemed between the three of us we had a pretty good rotation of who would spy the container first. And having a fast asleep passenger on his back did not stop the skipper from joining in on the action and helping to add our names to a few of the logbooks. When the terrain rating bumped up and we knew we had to do a little bit of climbing, the Bossman, Skipper, and Ai-chan waited below, watching the antics while we made our way up onto the side of the mountain. On one occasion, Inextricable Fate had to follow behind our footsteps to find a geocache that the rest of us seemed incapable of tracking down. Despite all the finds we made on our descent back toward parking, it actually felt like it had gone even quicker than the hike up to the top. At least one major factor in that was that Bossman had switched back to the skipper's back, where he promptly passed out and enjoyed his nap all the way back down.
Unlike the hotel that we found ourselves waking up yesterday, without a roof even, this should get a 5-star review. These kind of accommodations cannot be beat. The hotel even provides transportation service directly to where you want to go.
This geocache was located at the top of a slope filled with loose rocks. Inextricable Fate and I carefully made our way to the top and together were able to track down the hide. The descent proved to be equally challenging, prompting both of us to carefully choose our steps all the way to the bottom.
Just look at those flip-flops in action. Isn't that something? Snow, rocks, bushes, saw palmettos, thorns, it doesn't matter.
Sometimes Ai-chan picks the strangest places to sit and wait for us.
We took a really long time hunting for this geocache. Ai-chan is ready to go. All she is doing is waiting for the signal. As soon as we move a step in that direction, she's gone because she is done with this thing. All right, let's go. There we go. Finally, we're continuing. You guys didn't even find it.
It was great to have so many geocaches to choose from on our ascent up to the top of the mountain. But the real treasure to be found here had nothing to do with the caches themselves and everything to do with the company. Ichan and I both enjoyed spending the morning with not only Inextricable Fate, but Bossman and the Skipper as well. We had plenty of stories to swap and jokes to share all along the way. Despite growing up in the city, it is always a pleasure to be able to discover a trail system like this that we've never been down before. The enjoyment of the view at the top was made sweeter knowing that we had earned every step.
All right, and that is going to do it. We did exactly what we set out to do here today. We hiked all the way up to the top of the Roadrunner Tail Trail, which we thought was going to be a mile, but we passed that point and kept on going until we got to the very last geocache on the trail. And that is a reward all in itself, because off to one side, we have a beautiful view of the Las Vegas Valley, and off to the other, we have a beautiful view of Henderson. And not too far from us, over the mountains on that side, we have Railroad Pass leading into Boulder City. So I personally feel like I'm on top of the world here. And Bossman, enjoying himself the whole way up the trail, must be feeling the same way too. Thank you guys for joining us today as we take a little R&R here in Las Vegas. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.